ASAP Rocky just beat a case that almost sent him to prison for 24 years, and today we're breaking down his crazy trial from start to finish. Before the trial started, ASAP Rocky's lawyer Joe Tacopina tried to get the case thrown out. The judge dismissed the motion though, and Joe Tacopina said he knew that they didn't have a good chance at getting the case dismissed. It was just something they thought was worth trying. But Joe Tacopina said they always expected it to go to trial and that they were ready for the courtroom. During the opening arguments, the prosecutors played the surveillance video where Rocky allegedly shot at Relly. And before we break down the whole trial, this is how the shooting allegedly happened. Rocky and Relly have been homies since they were kids, and they were both part of the original ASAP crew. It's not clear what was going on behind the scenes, but Rocky and Relly ended up beefing, and they allegedly got into a fight a day before the alleged shooting went down. Back in 2023 at a pre-trial hearing, Relly said that he was the one who brought Rocky into the ASAP crew, and according to Relly, Rocky blew up and left everyone else behind. Relly said everyone else in the crew was broke or bums, and claimed that Rocky never helped anyone else get their careers popping. Then in October 2021, ASAP Josh died, and Josh's mom asked for money to bring his body to New York so she could have his funeral in his hometown. Relly said Rocky jumped in and said he would pay for everything, but Relly thought Rocky never actually put the money up, and said he sent him a text that said, "You so fucking fake, it's sad." Relly later admitted that he found out Rocky actually paid for the whole funeral out of his own pocket, but the money is allegedly where most of the drama started. According to Relly, he planned on meeting up with Rocky so they could squash the beef. Relly said he thought they might throw hands or something, but after that it would be all good. But when he got to the spot to meet Rocky, Relly said Rocky was aggressive from the jump and the two of them got into a scuffle, and that's when Rocky allegedly pulled out a gun and pointed it at Relly. Relly said he didn't really have any issues with Rocky, and that's why he was so shocked that Rocky pulled a gun on him. Relly claimed that Rocky shot at him 3 times and one of the bullets grazed his hand. Then everyone left the scene and somebody else called the cops. The cops rode up to where the shooting allegedly went down and searched the area, but they weren't able to find anything. The cops didn't find any evidence that there was a shooting, but Relly allegedly went back to the scene and found shell casings there. Relly brought the shell casings to the cops, and 2 days after the alleged shooting, he went to the hospital to get treatment. When the trial started, Rocky's lawyer Joe Tacopina immediately tried to poke holes in Relly's story. Relly had opened a civil case first before it turned into a criminal case, and Joe Tacopina claims that Relly only went to the hospital because his civil lawyer told him it would make his case against Rocky stronger. Relly even texted one of his homies that he was going to get money out of Rocky because Rocky shot at him. And what makes the situation even crazier is that Rocky and Relly were texting each other right after the shooting allegedly went down. Around an hour after Rocky and Relly had their fight, Relly texted Rocky and said, "You tried killing me." ASAP Rocky texted back and asked why Relly was telling people that he shot at him. Then Relly clapped back and said Rocky was trying to take him from his daughter. During the opening day of the trial, Relly's lawyer said they're not actually trying to prove that Rocky shot Relly though. They're just trying to prove that Rocky shot Adam. Rocky's lawyer Joe Tacopina clapped back and said that Relly planted evidence because he's trying to get money out of Rocky. Rocky's team also claims that the gun Rocky had wasn't even real. It was allegedly a prop gun that only shot blanks, and Rocky allegedly only pulled it out to scare Relly. As soon as the trial started, there was a lot of drama between the lawyers. Rocky and Relly's teams were sending shots back and forth, and it got so bad that by the second day of the trial, the judge told both sides they couldn't speak to the press or each other outside of the courtroom. The judge also wanted to know if Rocky's team still had the prop gun, but Joe Tacopina told the judge it existed. "I don't know if it exists now." Having the prop gun would have been huge for Rocky's case, but nobody knows where it is now. Relly took the stand on the second day, and that's when he started breaking the whole situation down. According to Relly, he was riding around with ASAP Bari a few days before he had the fight with Rocky. Bari was on the phone with Rocky, and Rocky allegedly told Bari that he's not cool with Relly because Relly's always in his feelings. When Relly showed up to meet Rocky, ASAP 12 and ASAP Ills were both with Rocky, and according to Relly, 12 was having issues with Rocky too. Relly said he was dissing all of them and called Ills a crackhead. Rocky and Relly got into a fight, but then Ills jumped in to break it up. Rocky, Ills, and 12 started rocking away, but Relly followed them and kept dissing, and that's when Rocky allegedly pulled out the gun and started shooting. Relly testified that he felt his hand get hot like a bullet hit him, so he grabbed ASAP Ills and used him as a shield. Relly said Rocky kept shooting even though he was holding Ills in front of him, but nobody had any real bullet wounds. After Rocky stopped shooting, Relly walked away and met back up with his girlfriend. Then according to him, they went to Dunkin' Donuts so Relly could get a pen and a brown paper bag. Then they went back to where the shooting went down, and that's when Relly found the alleged shell casings. Going back to the crime scene and taking evidence by yourself doesn't make any sense, and there were some other weird things about Relly's testimony. Relly testified that he went back to where the shooting happened like an hour later, but there were timestamps on cameras that proved he was wrong about that. Relly also testified about the clothes he was wearing when it went down, but whoever went back to the scene was wearing a different colored shirt. Relly said he was wearing a dark shirt during the shooting. The surveillance cameras in the area caught someone coming back to the scene later, but they were wearing a white shirt. Relly said he couldn't remember if he changed clothes before he went back to pick up the shell casings. And in a pre-trial hearing, he allegedly already testified that the person in the white shirt wasn't him. Relly was tripping up on the witness stand, and when he came back on the 4th day of the trial, Rocky's lawyer started pressing Relly and the situation got heated. Relly had testified that he didn't have any real problems with Rocky before the fight and the alleged shooting, but then Rocky's lawyer dropped a bomb on the case. Rocky's lawyer revealed that Relly had deleted text messages he had sent to Rocky before the shooting, where Relly called Rocky a fake-ass gay nigga and said, "Fuck everything about you." A big part of the trial was figuring out who really sparked the issue. Relly claimed that Rocky was the one being aggressive the whole time, but then his deleted text came out and they told a way different story. Right before Relly and Rocky met up, Relly texted Rocky and said, "You got all these fake animosity towards me. LOL, beat me up. Nigga, I wish you would. Give me a reason, nigga. You been pussy." Rocky's lawyer pressed Relly about the text and asked him why he deleted them before he handed his phone over to the cops. And Relly just dodged the questions and said he couldn't remember why he deleted the messages. Rocky's team also made it clear that Relly was trying to get money out of Rocky because Relly's own pockets were empty. Rocky's lawyer brought up how Relly was trying to flex his lifestyle on Instagram, even though he only had like $4K in his bank account.
In September 2021, you personally had about $4,000 in your bank account, correct?
Relly got heated when Rocky's lawyer pressed him about money, and then Rocky's lawyer dropped another bomb and asked Relly if his girlfriend was a prostitute. Back when the shooting allegedly went down, Relly was broke and allegedly had to get money from his girlfriend. His girlfriend was allegedly a prostitute, but Relly was flexing jets and cars on his Instagram like he was making millions. Relly's whole testimony was wild, because he kept giving different answers about really important details. He testified about the whole case during the pre-trial hearing, but during the actual trial, a lot of his answers were changing. During the pre-trial hearing, Relly testified that ASAP Ills had a knife, and then during the trial, he acted shocked when Rocky's lawyer brought up Relly's own statement. During the trial, Relly testified that he saw ASAP 12 with a knife. Relly and his team are trying to make it sound like he got ambushed by Rocky, 12 and Ills, but Rocky's team gave a different story. According to Rocky's side, Relly actually put hands on ASAP Ills after the fight broke out, and that's why Rocky pulled out the prop gun and let off a couple shots. Relly said he would never put hands on Ills though, because he already had a broken jaw. According to Relly, ASAP Rocky's cousin had broken Ills' jaw, and Relly said he would never hit Ills like that. Basically, according to Rocky's legal team, Relly sparked everything and is the reason they were fighting. Then Rocky pulled out a fake gun and used it to scare Relly off. The cameras in the courtroom recorded a lot of crazy moments, but there were a few wild things we don't have video of. During the 5th day of the trial, Rocky's lawyer pressed Relly about his girlfriend again and showed Relly a picture of her. Relly wouldn't answer if the woman was his girlfriend or not, but then there was more drama after the cameras cut off. There was another lawyer in the courtroom who tweeted about what went down. She said that Relly's lawyer already said he didn't want his family involved with the case, and then Rocky's lawyer clapped back and said, "She's not his family, she's a prostitute with an escort website." The lawyers were yelling at each other, then Rocky literally had to hold his own lawyer back because the situation was getting so heated. Then they caught Relly lying on the stand again about getting money out of Rocky. Rocky's team showed a phone call where Relly was talking to his homie Wale about suing Rocky, and Relly got pressed and said, "It's fake, get that away from me."
It's fake. It's fake.
Relly kept getting heated with Rocky's lawyer, and at one point it got so bad that the judge had to step in and tell Relly he can't insult people in the courtroom. Rocky's lawyer had also brought in the phone calls Relly had with his homie Wale, where Relly was talking about suing Rocky. Relly claimed that all the phone calls were fake, but then Rocky's team brought Wale in, and he testified that the calls were real. Relly had claimed he didn't try to expose the story about Rocky allegedly shooting him, but in a phone call with Wale, Relly was talking about exposing it to Rolling Stone and TMZ. And during another call, Relly was talking about how he was going to sue the shit out of Rocky and said, "That was my game regardless."
I'm suing this shit out of him. That was my game, and regardless.
Relly said he already knew he was going to get 30 mil out of the situation, which proves that he was lying on the stand again, because Rocky's lawyer had asked Relly about the 30 mil payout he was hoping for, and Relly said he didn't know the amount. Relly's whole plan was to extort Rocky for 30 mil and then leave the country. Relly explained on one of the phone calls that if he gets paid and goes to an island somewhere, then the cops wouldn't have a case against Rocky.
Pay me out via my lawsuit.
Oh.
I'll walk away. Basically, because I'll be on another island. Relax. get what I'm saying? They're going to be scrambling to find me because now they have to go against Rocky, the state.
So Relly was basically trying to get a payout because he thought Rocky wouldn't want to take it to trial. Relly kept on getting exposed, and it got even worse for him during the 7th day of the trial. The cop who took Relly's first report after the alleged shooting testified that day, and he proved that Relly has been changing his story from the jump. At one point, Relly claimed ASAP Ills had a knife. Then he changed the story and said it was ASAP 12 with the knife. But back when Relly went to the police for the first time, he didn't say anything about someone carrying a knife. Relly also claimed he had gone to Dunkin' Donuts to get a brown paper bag, and that's what he put the shell casings in. But the cops testified that Relly brought the casings in a black plastic bag. And to make the situation even worse for Relly, the Dunkin' Donuts he claimed he went to was already closed by the time he was allegedly there. There was a lot of drama about when Relly actually went back to the scene. He was always given different times of when he allegedly went back and picked up the shell casings, and it turns out that there was never any proof that Relly ever went back. Surveillance cameras spotted someone at the scene a few hours after the alleged shooting, but Relly and the cops all say that he wasn't the one in the video. The whole thing with Relly coming back to the scene is sketchy. According to one lawyer, Relly told the cops that the dude who was spotted on surveillance cameras going back to the scene was him. Relly said the same thing at the pre-trial hearing, but the district attorney allegedly made him change his story. Then during the trial, Relly said it was him again, and the DA told him to change his story again. The detective who testified at the trial also changed his story. During the pre-trial hearing, Detective Flores said that the dude on camera was Relly, but then during the trial, he changed what he said and claimed it wasn't Relly. The cops eventually raided Rocky's crib to look for evidence of the Relly shooting, but they weren't able to find anything. They found a .44 caliber pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun inside Rocky's crib, but all of the guns were legal and didn't have anything to do with the case. The cops also found a 9mm magazine that was full, and Relly's lawyers tried to tie that into the shooting. The shell casings Relly brought to the cops were 9mm, so Relly's team was trying to prove that Rocky had a 9mm pistol. Someone else already told the cops that the 9mm magazine was theirs though, and the brand of ammo wasn't even the same brand of shell casings Relly brought to the cops. Rocky's fingerprints weren't on the shell casings Relly brought in, but Detective Flores testified that he had been involved with over 2,000 shooting cases and had never taken fingerprints from shell casings. His testimony was really sketchy though, because he was the one who got a warrant for Rocky's fingerprint and DNA and said that he needed them for the investigation. The whole investigation was weird from the beginning. The cops never found any evidence of a shooting, then they just let Relly hand over 2 random shell casings that could have been from anywhere. Relly's story was shaky from the jump, and the cops never even interviewed ASAP 12 about what went down, even though he was one of the main witnesses. The alleged shooting went down in 2021, but the cops didn't talk to 12 for the first time until January 2025. ASAP 12 testified on the 9th day of the trial and talked about why Rocky was carrying a prop gun. According to 12, Rocky and him both got stabbed in a club a few years back, and Rocky always had stalkers outside of his crib. 12 said Rocky hired a whole security crew, but he also started carrying the prop gun to scare people off. After Rocky started dating Rihanna, he made a track for her called DMB. They shot the video for the track in the Bronx, and 12 said that was the first time he saw the prop gun. Relly had testified that Rocky was the one who was being aggressive when they linked up, but 12 said Relly walked straight up to Rocky and grabbed him. 12 stepped in to break it up and told Rocky they should leave. Rocky, 12 and Ills tried to go, and that's when Relly followed them and kept yelling. Rocky eventually turned around and pulled out the prop gun, and that's when Relly allegedly told him to shoot that fake ass gun. Everyone allegedly knew that Rocky was carrying a prop gun, and that's why Relly wasn't actually afraid of getting shot. Relly allegedly punched ASAP Ills, then he swung on 12 and missed. Relly punched Ills again after that, and that's when Rocky shot the fake gun to scare Relly off. 12's testimony was really hurting Relly's case, and Relly's lawyer got heated and started arguing with the judge again. There was another weird moment during 12's testimony when a lawyer tried to get 12 to tell him what AWGE means. AWGE is the name of Rocky's record label, and fans have been trying to figure out what it stands for ever since he created it. Everyone who's involved with AWGE won't answer questions about what it means, and on the AWGE website it says, rules. Number 1, never reveal what AWGE means. Number 2, when in doubt, always refer to rule number 1. ASAP Rocky wasn't supposed to be talking during the trial, but when the lawyer asked 12 what AWGE means, Rocky jumped in and told 12 don't say it.
What does AWGE mean?
Oh, don't say.
Huh?
Oh.
12 didn't get a chance to answer the question about what AWGE means, and Relly's lawyer kept grilling him about the shooting. Relly's team was trying to make 12 look like a liar. Relly's lawyer is trying to make 12 break down the surveillance footage of the fight and show that Rocky pulled the alleged gun before Relly put hands on ASAP Ills. But the video was so blurry that nobody could really tell what was going on. Then after 12 was finished, ASAP Lou got called up to testify. Lou has been part of ASAP for years, and he was Rocky's tour manager when the shooting went down. Relly's team made a big deal out of the 9mm magazine that the cops found in Rocky's crib, but ASAP Lou claimed that the magazine was his. ASAP Lou also testified about the prop gun and said he got it for Rocky for the DMB video shoot. Then after the alleged shooting went down in November 2021, ASAP Lou said he gave the prop gun back to the co-director of the DMB music video and never saw it again. The trial got heated again when both sides gave their closing arguments. Relly's lawyer yelled for hours about how guilty Rocky was. Then Rocky's lawyer clapped back and pointed out all the lies Relly had been telling. Relly had testified that he hadn't shot any guns before the situation with Rocky, but then people found out he had been posting about shooting at a gun range just a couple of days before. Relly said he just got confused, but Rocky's lawyer wasn't buying his story. After the closing arguments ended, Rocky's lawyer Joe Tacopina talked to TMZ and said he was feeling good about the case.
I feel as good as can be, especially because of the way the summations ended.
According to him, it shouldn't take the jury more than 5 minutes to find Rocky not guilty, but you never know 100% what a jury is thinking. A big part of the trial was convincing the jury that ASAP Rocky was using a prop gun instead of a real one. But even if the jurors think Rocky had a real gun, they can still say he was not guilty because Rocky was protecting ASAP Ills from Relly. The trial was 3 weeks full of drama, and after the closing arguments, nobody really knew what was going to happen. But after the jury started deliberating, it only took them 3 hours before they came back and announced that they found Rocky not guilty. When the verdict was announced, Rocky turned around and dove over a barrier so he could hug Rihanna. Then outside the courtroom, Rocky thanked the jury for making the right decision to let him walk away as a free man. Rocky had been fighting this case for years, but luckily the jury saw through all of Relly's lies and let Rocky go. A lot of fans were shocked that ASAP Rocky didn't take a plea deal since he was facing decades in prison, but he obviously made the right call by taking it to trial, and now he can finally move on.